MGTOW, MGTOW, standing for Men Going Their Own Way, and MRA, Men's Rights Activism, lacking causal factors and solutions. Men's movements like MGTOW or MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way, often portray women as evil, flawed by their nature, and solely responsible for the downfall of humankind. They often push an erroneous and divisive belief that the current condition of the female mindset is the result of what they refer to as female nature, when in fact this mindset is a product of complex, lifelong social engineering that affects the vast majority of women, and most certainly is not the nature of the female of our species, as I'm going to get into in a future slide. Okay? This is the problem with their analysis. They understand the symptoms, but they do not understand social engineering as the causal factor. It's like somebody thinking that all psychopaths are primary psychopaths, and they're just born that way. And they don't understand that there is a condition of psychopathy. The vast majority of psychopaths are not primary genetic psychopaths. They, in fact, are secondary psychopaths, that the psychopathy, their inability to feel emotion or to experience human empathy, is due to conditions that occurred to them during their lives, past traumas that they experienced. Well, social engineering is a form of mass trauma that's taking place against the psyche of the female of our species, okay? And it is the reason that these behaviors manifest themselves. It is not that way from birth. If this hidden hand of the social engineers were not continuously repressing true human female nature, the inauthentic women would not be behaving the way that they do in our society. We have to understand that. You start blaming it on women as a species, as just, you know, the gender. We're getting further down the line of the gender war and divisiveness between the genders. You're not working toward healing the divide. And you're actually missing, you're thinking from an absolute flawed, axiomatic point of view, because you haven't actually done enough homework to understand how this is being done. I told you, when I go on MGTOW or MRA forums, it's almost it's almost negligible when they are talking about any forms of social engineering, and the term mind control just never comes up. Because if they do ever talk about it, they'll talk about the influence, societal influences. That's the euphemism they'll use. They won't call it mind control, which is what it really is, okay? They have no knowledge of it because they have no knowledge of the occult. Zero. These people have no knowledge about how occult knowledge can be wielded to affect the mind of someone else. None. And that's the problem with these movements. They're correct in their analysis, incorrect in their causal factor analysis, and incorrect certainly in their solutions. Men's reaction movements such as MGTOW and MRA, men's rights activism, like many other activist groups, will often correctly analyze the symptoms of the problem, but do not have an accurate understanding of the causal factors of the problem, and therefore also lack any true empowering long-term solutions. A quote-unquote solution often presented by many in these reactionary movements is for men to completely, quote, drop out of human society or to no longer have any interaction whatsoever with women unless they are receiving some sort of overt benefit for the interaction. Those within these movements should not expect any improvement in the conditions which they analyze until and unless the main causal factor of social engineering or mind control is recognized and addressed by them. And that's why the idea to drop out and stop interacting with women is not a solution. The solution isn't about not interacting with women. It's about explaining what the hell has been being done to women to them. That's the solution. And you know what? Most men want no part of that work, and most women don't want to hear it. That's the truth of that. And you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep speaking it anyway. Doesn't make a difference who's listening. Because that's the right thing to do. I don't do this because I even expect anything to change. I don't do this because I care about specific people. I do this because I care about truth. And I care about freedom, and I'm going to try to influence it for greater freedom. I'm going to try to influence society to move toward greater truth and greater consciousness. It doesn't even make a difference if the effect happens long-term or not. I'm doing it because this is what I'm here to do. This is how I'm investing the time in my life, and most of all, because it's right. So I see things a little differently than even the MGTOW community does, okay? The blue pill, you know, the traditional blue pill path, and then you have the red pill path, which is what the arrow jutting off that symbol is. Well, I think really, you know, the truth is in an entirely different direction from both of those. So that is the